Yes. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. So let's get started. We are doing boot camp today. And imagine your ideal customer discovering your business, not through expensive, flashy ads or but because you have built a reputation as a go-to expert in your field. That is the power of content marketing. It's not about selling, it is about solving problems, building trust, and keeping your business top of mind. In the next half hour, we are going to show you how to turn the content into a magnet for growth. And it doesn't matter what industry or what budget you have. Today you see me, Katrine Fredrickson, and Dick Stepanski. We are with Easy Marketing. We are located in Northeast Florida, and I started the company over 23 years ago. So we've been around for quite a while. And just as the company, we build and upkeep websites for clients. We do digital graphic, and we do printed materials. But what we really spend most of our times, and there are four of us here at Easy Marketing, is content marketing using social media and email marketing. So we are going to take a look and show you how to do all of this today. So Dixie, I am passing the word over to you.
Thank you so much. So let's start today by defining content marketing. I like to think of it as both the art and the science of providing relevant, useful content to a highly defined, highly targeted audience. Content marketing involves the creation and sharing of helpful content. So that could be anything from videos, blogs, social media posts, anything that does not explicitly promote your business, but instead is intended to inform and engage the consumer, to position you as a thought leader, to build trust, and then ultimately to stimulate interest in your products and services. So I'd like to bring it home with an example. And since I'm still full from Thanksgiving, I thought this was timely. Let's talk about Butterball. They are the largest turkey processor in the United States. They single-handedly sell a third of all the nation's turkeys each year, despite having a consistently higher price point. How do they do that? I was wondering. Frozen turkey is basically a commodity. They're pretty much all the same. And most of you are probably thinking they probably have a big advertising budget, but you'd be wrong because Ballpark is the undisputed champion of content marketing. So I wanted to kind of illustrate the difference. So the image you see here is not content marketing. This is one of the rare cases of something promotional. This is a Facebook post they did about a new premium product. But I looked, and in the entire month of November, which is their biggest month of the year, this was the only one singular promotional post they did on Facebook. Butterball wasn't out there screaming, buy our product. It's better, it's bigger, it's juicier, it's free range. Instead, they were winning hearts and minds by being helpful. They use their social media to post reminder for as consumers about when to start thawing your turkey. You don't want to forget that. They also give tips about preparation and cooking. They have a blog on their website with all kinds of step-by-step guides for everything from thawing to deep frying. They've made little calculators for how many portions do you need? Do you want leftovers? How long does it take to thaw? How long do you want to cook it? And they make YouTube videos on how to remove the giblets, how to check for doneness, and how to carve it to perfection. Butterball dominates the turkey market, not because their product is the cheapest or even arguably the best, but because cooking the centerpiece of a big family meal is intimidating. And Butterball has positioned themselves like a friendly, helpful grandma there to kind of walk you through it. And the wildest part is none of their content is specific to their products. You could use these same turkey tips to make a less expensive turkey from, say, Jennie-O. but by consistently delivering valuable information, customers ultimately reward them with their business and their loyalty. And you can do the same. So we thought we'd start with a few little stats. I love a good stat. Buyers tell us time and time again that content marketing is important to them. 70% view 4 or more pieces of content before they make a purchase. 71% say that they trust brands that provide useful information without trying to sell something. And business to business companies also can benefit. 67% generate more leads. So this doesn't just apply to consumer goods. And today we're talking about content, but we don't want to give you the idea that there's no place for ads or promotions. We would never suggest that. It's more of a matter of balance. And we like to think of marketing as relationship-based rather than transaction-based. So in a relationship, you want to give more than you ask for. No one likes a sales pitch all the time. You wouldn't subscribe to that blog. You wouldn't follow them on social media if it was constantly like, buy this, sign up for that. So for maximum effectiveness, we recommend the 80-20 principle, which means that 80% of the content that you share with the world should strive to cultivate relationships. So showing your expertise, building trust, providing valuable information. When you do that, it makes the 20% of the time that you're actually selling something more effective. So for some of us that have been using our marketing kind of like an all-night infomercial, 80% is going to sound like a lot. But after 23 years in the business with clients from every imaginable industry, they've shown us time and time again that this is really a winning combination. So today we're going to kind of like take a peek behind the curtain at our process here at Easy Marketing, how we work with all of our like small to mid-sized clients and the process we take them through to do content marketing effectively. So number one is that we define the brand. So the way that you present your business or nonprofit or organizations of the world is known as your brand. And before we put together any content, we make our clients a brand guide or a branding board. Some, like a big chemical company we work with, can be very detailed and many pages long, but I'm including the simplest version here because it will apply to all of you into any industry. So this can be like a one-page document, and the things you want on there, for example, are your logo and any variations you have, the fonts that you've selected to use consistently, the color palette, hashtags that you have researched, and brand descriptors that inform the tone of your writing, right? Because some of us want to be friendly, some of us want to be knowledgeable, some of us want to be humorous. So think about the tone that your company is going to set. For your content marketing to be successful, your brand needs to be two things: consistent and recognizable. So by using this same color palette and consistent fonts and language across all of your marketing, from your website to your social media posts, it's going to be critical to achieving that goal.
Yeah, I usually take an example of TV ads. When a TV ad from Target is coming, you hardly ever see their name until the very end. It could just be an empty screen with a few things, and it only takes seconds for you to recognize that, yes, this is going to be a Target ad. And then they show the products or their message, and then in the end you see that it's Target, but it's something with the way they have done the branding. So of course you're not going to be able to do everything what Target do when you start marketing, but at least if you have your colors and if you have the right logo, you will come a long way when it comes to be recognized.
Absolutely. And this is an example from a real client that we work with, and I'm going to use the same client in all my examples so you can kind of see the process from start to finish. So this is a healthcare provider in the Tampa area that does like direct, they don't take insurance. So next we sit down and plan out our content themes for the entire year. So we call this an editorial calendar. So for this, you want to think about, if I could pick the 12 most important things to my potential customer, what would they be? So these should be like their pain points, their frequently asked questions, that kind of thing. Those are the topics that you want to tackle. So for most of our businesses, we stick to like one theme per month, but if you're very ambitious, you could do a two. So this again is an editorial calendar for the same client. And because she's in healthcare, sometimes we do monthly themes, like if it happens to be in November was like National Diabetes Month. So that was a perfect time to be focusing on diabetes. But also because diabetes is one of the major health concerns of her particular clientele. So you really want to have that balance of matching the service that you provide with a high degree of relevance to the audience. So the bonus is it's timely here because it happened to be National Diabetes Month. There's a lot of people talking about it at that time, right? A lot of those hashtags are being used. So the social media algorithms, for example, are going to recognize that this is trending, that people are talking about this type of content, and that's going to help get us seen. So that's not going to be the case for every industry. You're not always going to have like a special month to celebrate. But let's say you have a local bike shop, for example. You sell bikes year round, but you might think about the seasonality of it. So maybe in like the late spring is a great time to talk about bike carriers, right? Because people are getting ready to go on vacation and they want to take their bicycles with them. Maybe in November and December is a great time to talk about children's bikes because they're very giftable for the holidays, those kinds of things. Maybe like in between those, you talk about like bike repair or bike maintenance. So if you think about the different topics, you can pick out the best time that makes the most sense for your customers. I'm going to talk a little bit more in the presentation about like what to say, but this is just to give you some ideas to get the content flowing. So after we have our editorial calendar, we know the basic concept that we're going to be focusing on each month. The first thing we do is write a blog. And when I say blog, I don't mean like a travel blog, right? Pictures of me like, going to the Florida Keys. I mean like a little news article that we've put on our website and either a blog section or a news section that has to do with that topic. And we do this for a couple reasons. One is SEO, right? Search engine optimization. If you set up your website once, probably when you first launched your business and haven't changed a thing since, Google knows that, right? That content is getting old, it's getting stale. They like to see fresh content. So just by adding something new, you're helping yourself go up in the search range rankings. Also, if your content is very relevant and you're making good use of keywords, that's another way that you can bring new, fresh eyes to your website. So we recommend at least once a month that you're putting a little news post or a blog on your website. So this is what that looks like. And again, it's on the same topic of diabetes because that was our content for the month. We typically recommend about 600 words for these. And if you're like, well, Dixie, I'm not a writer. I have a business to run. How am I going to write this blog every month? You can use Chat GPT. I won't tell anyone. Just go on there. It's free. Tell them, and you can ask it for ideas too. Like, I have this kind of business. What would be some good topics to blog about? And then you pick one and then you ask it, please help me write a 600-word blog about this topic. This is my audience. This is my tone. Remember going back to those brand descriptors, and it'll give you a really good starting point.
Yeah, and a starting point, because you always have to read, you always have to tweak it, but it gets you quite a bit on the way to get something written.
Absolutely. So next we want to do emails. And what we mean is like email marketing. So we've picked an email marketing platform like Constant Contact or HubSpot or something like that. And we're sending out professional looking emails to all of our clients, our potential clients, people who visit our website, everyone who has given us their email and subscribed. Why do we do this? Because email marketing is really easy to use. It's very inexpensive, like probably less than $30 a month. And it has a super high ROI. For every dollar that you spend on e-marketing, you're going to get like $36. So it's very effective. And what you can do is take the same content that you just put on your blog and put a snippet of it in your newsletter. So here you see the top of the newsletter. That very first picture was the same one from our blog. And we didn't put the whole blog, not the whole 600 words, just the first paragraph or two. Or again, you can ask AI to write a summary of it. put it there in your email, and then have a little button that says read more. And that button goes back to your website. So you give them just enough to kind of whet their appetite, but then bring them back to your website, because that's where you want to drive all the traffic, right? That's the place where they can buy the product, learn more about the service, sign up for a consultation, donate, volunteer. And you've used the same piece of content in 2 different ways without much more work. So again, here's the read more button. You always need that little call to action. And then I want to talk just a little bit about opening rates. So a good opening rate, that's how many people open your email, is anything over 20%. When you have good content marketing, you tend to see very high. All of these are well over the 50% mark. A good click rate is like 2%. These are 3 times that. So if you compare this to like social media, for example, where we'll be happy if 2% of the people look at and respond to something, you're going to see a lot of people are very responsive to email. So that brings us to social media, my favorite topic. So again, for November, we decided on diabetes. We made a blog about it. Then we put a summary of that in our newsletter. Then we took that same blog and took a little paragraph from each and made a social media post about it. So all month long, we were blogging about different things. Posting on social media about diabetes. So it's great that we could take that same content and now use it in a third way. Sometimes clients are concerned that it's like oversaturation, that we're talking too much about the same thing, or that people are going to see it in multiple ways. But remember, other people are not consuming your content for your business the same way you are. So we're lucky to hit them in any one of these ways. And if we hit them twice, even better. It usually takes multiple impressions for people to get the idea and then take an action. So we really want that kind of repetition. So these are all the social media posts. And again, the content of this, like the little caption, was taken almost directly from the blog. And it's short, just a couple sentences. And then there's a link there where they can go back to the website and learn more or take an action, or in this case, like sign up for an appointment or a consultation. All right. And I just wanted to remind you that all roads lead back to your website, right? So whether you are posting a social media post, sending out an email, making a blog, the point of all of those is to get people to go back to your website, which is the place where you can actually make the sale. So there always needs to be a call to action, a link, a read more button. If it's the blog on your website, there needs to be a place to like contact you or to buy the product or set up the consultation. That's the point of all this. You don't want to be putting all this content out in the world, but not getting people to take action. So whatever you're doing, however you use your content, all roads going to lead back to your website. So again, we're not talking necessarily about promotional content. You do need that at least 20% of the time, because you want to, sell your products and services. But I wanted to talk about, what are the different types of value-added content. So one of those is going to be, well, first let's talk about what it is, right? You want it to be helpful, like with Butterball, right? It needs to meet a need, it needs to solve a problem for the reader. Mostly it needs to be relevant and speak to their interest. The very best value-added content enables readers to overcome a challenge or maybe learn something that they didn't already know. So when you're trying to figure out what am I going to talk about, think about your audience's struggles and then how your product or service meets that need. So, or the steps to solve that problem. By providing that information, you're going to build connection and trust and position yourself as a thought leader. So one type of content is original content. So by original, I mean anything put out by your organization. So something that you wrote, you created, you bought, something that you own. And while that sounds a little bit intimidating, again, it doesn't have to be. Think about the frequently asked questions you get from your customers, and those are often the best topics to be covering. So this example here is from Good Grief, a client we worked with who specialized in helping people with the grieving process from the loss of a pet. It's really emotionally heavy stuff, but they're very great about balancing that with event photos and content that's lighter and kind of relates to the reader on a personal level. So again, use your frequently asked questions for sort of content inspiration. That's obviously the stuff people need and want to know about. And then you can also do little spotlights. So if you have upcoming events, videos, especially short form videos, like 60 seconds or less, are very, very popular right now. The algorithms are really rewarding those. So don't be intimidated, just grab your phone, take it like this and just video yourself talking for 30 to 60 seconds about a helpful topic to your readers and put that out there. You'll see how much readership you get. You can also show sort of the behind the scenes of what's going on in your organization, talk about new products or services, spotlight employees, job openings. All of those are examples of original content that you could be putting out there.
And it's part of being authentic as well. People want to, you can go purchase artwork and write things so it looks so nice and sleek that they don't really think, is this really a person in my community or doing this service, or is this something fake? You need to be authentic, and all of those examples Dixie just gave here, especially the behind the scenes and the videos, really show who you are and that you are ready to take care of the needs they have.
Yeah, in this particular example, the company allowed people, there's a form on their website where people could email them or submit little obituaries for pets that they had lost. And then they would share those on their social media and they would share those as a memorial in their newsletter. So they let kind of like their readers and their customers be involved in the content process as well. And those were very beloved. Next, there's also curated content. So if you're like most small businesses we work with, you don't have an army of content writers on staff. So it's helpful to sort of round out your original content by sharing some stuff from others. So this would typically be news and content from trusted sources. So this was one of our newsletters, and we also included a link to an article from Constant Contact in our own monthly newsletter. So think about things that might be happening in your industry. You might have a professional association or a publication that puts out industry news, infographics, that kind of stuff. You could look for influencers and other experts in your industry, share some of their content. So you can put little snippets of it in your newsletter. You can reshare their posts on social media. My tips are here to take care to only share things from trusted sources, because by sharing this with your audience, you're sort of vouching for its credibility. And of course, always give credit to the author and link back to the original source. And be sure not to just copy and paste. You want to add a few sentences of your own to give it some perspective about the article and kind of tell people why you're sharing it, like why you think it would be valuable for them. And lastly, just a few best practices to keep in mind. You want your content to be visually compelling. So always include a supporting image. A chart, an infographic that shares data about the topic is really helpful. Using stats is a great way to drive home a point. Whenever possible, switch it up and throw a video in there. Not everything has to be written content. And a video is really always more engaging to the audience. So think about like a little mini product tutorial, or maybe a short video sharing your perspective, or like a quick tip. We shared some quick tips with our realtor clients on how to upload business to their to their Google business profile. So you don't need a fancy setup, just your phone. Really the things you want: some good lighting, so always turn and face the window or face the light, a decent microphone so we can hear you well, and just either a webcam or a smartphone. And at the end, just be sure to include a soft call to action. So by soft, I mean not a hard sales pitch, but here's where you can go to find out more information. And hopefully that's going to be the blog on your website. And then lastly, make it easy for people to share. So you can do this by adding a social media block to your email so readers can share things that they found useful. Or of course, there's the share button on social media. When people see you as a trusted source of expertise, it's going to help you stay top of mind and more likely to win their business or their repeat business. Plus, when they are happy and successful with your products and services, then they're more likely to refer you, to leave positive reviews, all of which helps grow your business. So with that, we are going to take some of your questions. So please use the chat box to let us know what questions you have about content. So this could be about the process or about, what types of content would be helpful to your industry. We'll give just a moment to take all of those.
Yeah, we don't have anything putting in here today, so
Well, maybe we were really successful.
yes.
I'll give you, how about this? I think you're shy. I'll give you our contact information. Usually we get a lot of emails after the workshop is over, so please just email us and we will be glad to answer your questions. We also encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. You see the handle there. We post videos just like this every single month. And so there's a wealth of information about content marketing, email marketing, social media, websites, digital marketing, basically anything like small business owners would need to kind of DIY yourself. So check that out. I think we're getting a question here from Alan. How often are you asking clients to add a blog post? I would say a minimum of once a month. What do you think, Katrine?
Yes, I do, and it's interesting, Alan, how you're writing that. We have retainers, for example, where we help our clients, and some of them write their own blogs, and that's from where we are pulling the lots of information for social media and email marketing. And clients that have bigger retainers, we actually write it for them. But once a month is your website need that for SEO, but you also need that for content. A newsletter, an email should go out once a month, maybe once every second month, but people are expecting to see new content. It is a way of showing that you actually are active in your business, and then you're around, and you don't want your name to drop off, and they need to see that you're still active in your industry.
Yeah, some of you have businesses where customers are not going to interact with you often. So, for example, if you're a dermatologist, people are only going to come to you once a year. If you're a realtor, people are only going to need your services once every 5 to 7 years on average. So, you need to keep top of mind because they see you now and they don't see you for another year or another 5 years. So, if you're showing up, in your inbox, or if they're able to come read your blog post, that's just keeping you top of mind for later when they either need your services again, or more likely when they need to refer you to a friend. My friend Sharon down the street, now she needs a dermatologist. Oh, I just got an email from mine last week. Let me forward it to you. They're great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a question. How do you advise on how to set up email marketing? So we are working with Constant Contact, work with that for 18 years, I don't know, 15 years. That's what we are using ourselves. It's what all our clients are using. And in the follow-up email, you're going to get a link. So you could just set it up. It has a step-by-step process of setting up, and it can help. We also have that service where we actually consult with the client and look at what industry you're in, what addresses do you already have, how can you gain more addresses. Are we going to add a button on your website where people can sign up? Are we going to create QR codes? Are you starting to collect email addresses when people are making a purchase? Because if you are a brick and mortar, that might not be the normal way of doing things. And then we can also divide. Email marketing is by far best. It does best if you can target, if you have different groups. We were discussing, someone here had a pet store. If you're able to gauge and see what people are interested in. So if people are bird lovers, that you put those into a special email list. So if you have something for just birds, you can send that out. And then when you have a general email, it can goes to everyone on your list. So we can help with that, absolutely.
Great, excellent advice. Well, you guys have been a good audience. You'll get a follow-up email from us probably later today, if not tomorrow, that'll have like a replay of this video and also our contact information. We do these once a month. They're always free as a service to our customers and our audience. So there'll be a sign up where you can sign up to attend next month and learn more. And again, there's always great content on our YouTube channel. And if we can help with any way, please email us and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.